Hey there.
I'm Alex, and welcome back to the channel where we make learning English not only easy, but fun and effective. Today, we're talking about something that can completely change your English game: thinking in English. Let's get real for a second. If you're like most English learners, you probably still translate in your head before speaking or listening. You hear a sentence in English. You switch to your native language to understand it. Then you translate your answer back into English before you speak. Sound familiar? This translation habit might feel natural at first, but over time, it becomes a speed bump on the road to fluency. It slows you down, makes conversations harder, and keeps you from expressing yourself naturally. Here's the great news. Just like going to the gym builds stronger muscles, your brain gets better with training. And yes, you can train your brain to stop translating and start thinking directly in English. It doesn't happen overnight, but with daily practice and the right mindset, it's absolutely possible. And once it clicks, everything gets easier: listening, speaking, even understanding fast English speakers. In this video, I'm giving you 20 powerful daily exercises that will help you rewire your brain to think in English without effort. We'll cover simple habits you can do anytime, anywhere, fun and creative ways to grow your vocabulary, advanced techniques used by fluent speakers. By the end of this video, you'll have a clear plan to stop translating and start thinking in English, starting today. Before we dive in, remember this: progress takes time. You didn't learn your native language in a day, and the same goes for English. So don't worry if it feels awkward at first. Every time you practice, you're building a new mental habit. And every small step counts. Because when you keep showing up, even just 5 minutes a day, you're not just learning English. You're making it part of how you think, how you feel, and how you see the world. We talked about how translating from your native language can slow you down when speaking or listening in English, and how training your brain to think directly in English can change everything. Now it's time to get practical. Let's look at some daily exercises you can start doing today to build that mental habit of thinking in English. Technique number 1. Name what you see. This is one of the simplest but most powerful ways to start building direct connections between words and objects. All you have to do is look around you, right now, and silently name what you see. For example, chair, window, coffee cup, keyboard. Do this while walking down the street, sitting in a cafe, or even just relaxing at home. The goal is to create a direct link between the object and the English word, without going through your native language. Over time, this builds automatic recognition. So when you see a chair, you don't think Silla or Stuhl or whatever the word is in your language. You immediately think chair. It might feel slow at first, but with regular practice, it becomes second nature. Technique number 2. Describe your actions. Another great way to train your brain is by describing what you're doing in real time, using simple English sentences. Think of yourself as a narrator of your own life. Let's say you're getting ready for work. I'm brushing my teeth. I'm putting on my shirt.
I'm drinking coffee.
Or, if you're cooking dinner,
I'm chopping vegetables.
I'm stirring the soup. I'm turning off the stove. These are short, simple sentences, and that's exactly the point. At this stage, it's not about being perfect. It's about creating the habit of forming thoughts in English. By making this part of your routine, you'll start noticing that your brain reaches for English words more naturally, especially during everyday tasks. Technique number 3. Morning routine practice. Your morning routine is a powerful moment to begin thinking in English.
Why?
Because it's something you do every day, so you already know what comes next. Start by mentally walking through your morning before you even get out of bed. Visualize each step and describe it to yourself in English. For example, I wake up. I turn off the alarm. I stretch. I sit up. I get out of bed. I go to the bathroom. I brush my teeth. You can also speak these sentences quietly out loud if you're alone, or just repeat them silently in your head. Repeating this every morning helps your brain connect familiar actions with English phrases. And because it's the same routine every day, it gives your brain a safe space to practice without pressure. After a few days, you'll find yourself automatically thinking in English as soon as you open your eyes.
Technique 10-4, inner dialogue.
Now we're moving into a slightly more advanced but very effective technique, replacing your internal voice with English. Most people talk to themselves in their heads throughout the day. You might be thinking things like, I should call my friend later. What should I wear today? I hope the meeting goes well. Right now, you may be having these thoughts in your native language. The idea here is to gently switch those inner thoughts into English. Start small. Ask yourself simple questions in English. What should I eat for lunch? Did I finish my work? Should I reply to that message now? Then answer yourself in English too. Maybe I'll have a sandwich and a salad. Not yet, but I'm almost done. No, I'll wait until tomorrow. At first, it might feel strange or forced. That's normal. But over time, your brain will start using English more naturally for self-talk, decision-making, and reflection. Technique number 5, set thinking challenges. One of the best ways to build consistency is by setting clear goals, and that includes setting specific time blocks where you only think in English. Start with something manageable like 30 minutes a day. During that time, commit to using only English in your thoughts. If your mind tries to switch back to your native language, gently bring it back to English. Be kind to yourself. It's a process. As you get more comfortable, increase the challenge. 1 hour per day, 2 hours, a full afternoon, an entire day. Eventually, you'll notice that thinking in English doesn't require effort anymore. It becomes your default mode. Technique number 6, learn new words daily and use them. One of the most effective ways to build your vocabulary is by learning just a few new words each day and then using them immediately in your thoughts.
Here's how.
1. Choose 3 to 5 new words. 2. Read their definitions and example sentences in English. 3. Then, create your own simple mental sentences using those words. For example, you learn the word delicious. Think, this soup is delicious. Or, I made a delicious cake yesterday. By doing this regularly, you're not just memorizing words, you're training your brain to use them. It doesn't have to be complicated. The goal is to make these words part of your inner voice. Technique number 7, think in categories. Another great way to organize your vocabulary is by thinking in categories.
Choose a topic like fruits, clothes,
kitchen items, emotions, weather. Then, try to name as many words as you can from that category, all in English. For example, if you choose fruits, think apple, banana, orange, grapes, pineapple. Then take it one step further. Form short sentences in your mind. I like apples. Bananas are sweet. I bought oranges at the market. This helps your brain organize words into groups, making them easier to remember and faster to recall when speaking or writing. You can do this while waiting in line, riding the bus, or even lying in bed before sleep. Technique number 8, summarize what you watch. If you watch English videos, movies, or listen to podcasts, great. Now it's time to use them to train your brain to think in English. After watching something, pause and ask yourself, what was it about?
Who were the main people?
What did they say or do? Try to answer these questions silently in your head, using only English. At first, you may only remember a few details. That's okay. The key is to practice forming full thoughts without switching back to your native language. Over time, this builds your ability to process information in English, which makes listening and speaking much smoother. Technique number 9, Read without translating. Reading is one of the best ways to naturally absorb vocabulary, but only if you read in the right way. Many learners try to understand every single word by looking it up or translating it, but that actually slows down progress. Instead, try reading for meaning, not for perfect understanding. Pick easy-to-read material like short stories, children's books, simple news articles, blogs, or social media posts. As you read, focus on guessing the meaning of unfamiliar words based on the sentence or picture around them. Ask yourself, what is happening here? How does the character feel? What happened before this? This trains your brain to stay in English, even when you don't know every word. And the more you read this way, the more your vocabulary grows naturally, without needing translation. Technique number 10. Imagine real-life scenarios. One of the most effective ways to prepare for real conversations is to mentally rehearse them before they happen. Imagine yourself in common situations like ordering coffee at a cafe, asking for directions, talking to a coworker, buying groceries, making small talk. In your mind, walk through the situation step by step in English. For example, I walk into the cafe. The barista asks, "What can I get for you?" I say, "I'd like a latte, please." She asks, "Do you want it hot or cold?" I reply, "Hot, thank you." You can do this while waiting for the bus, walking to work, or just lying in bed before sleep. The more you imagine these moments in English, the more prepared your brain becomes when those situations actually happen. This builds confidence and helps you respond faster because your brain has already practiced. Technique number 11. End-of-day reflection. Another great way to stay in English throughout the day is by doing a short mental review before going to sleep. Think back on what you did today and describe it to yourself in English. Start simple. Today I woke up early. I had breakfast. I went to work. I met a friend for lunch. Then go deeper. I felt tired this morning. My meeting went well. I watched an interesting video. I practiced thinking in English. This doesn't have to be perfect grammar or long paragraphs. Just focus on connecting your thoughts naturally in English. Doing this every night not only reinforces what you've learned, but also makes English feel like a normal part of your life. And as a bonus, studies show that reviewing your day before sleep helps improve memory and language retention. Technique number 12. Journaling in English. If you're ready to take reflection one step further, try writing down your thoughts in English, even just a few sentences a day. Choose any topic.
Your day. How you feel.
What you learned. Something that made you happy. Again, don't worry about grammar or spelling. The goal here is not to write perfectly. It's to think in English and get used to forming ideas in the language. Over time, you'll notice that writing becomes easier and more natural, and so does speaking. Journaling gives your brain practice putting thoughts into words, which is exactly what happens when you talk with someone. So whether you write in a notebook or type on your phone, give it a try, even just 5 minutes a day. Technique number 13. Play vocabulary games. Who says learning has to be boring? Turn vocabulary into a game by challenging yourself to think fast in English.
Try this.
Set a timer for 1 minute. See how many words you can name in a category.
Clothing items, shirt, shoes, hat.
Kitchen tools, spoon, knife, pot. Emotions, happy, tired, excited. You can also challenge yourself by building quick sentences using those words. I'm wearing jeans and a t-shirt. I used a spoon to eat my soup. I feel relaxed today. This is a great way to warm up your brain before speaking practice, and it helps you recall words faster during real conversations. Technique number 14. Sing along to songs. Music is one of the most powerful tools for language learning because it connects emotion, rhythm, and memory. Pick a song in English that you like Any genre works, and do this. Listen carefully to the lyrics. Try to sing along. Then, pause and explain the meaning of the song in your own words, in English. For example, this song is about missing someone you love. The singer is feeling sad but hopeful. Even if you don't understand every word, just trying to describe what you hear keeps your brain working in English. And over time, singing along improves your pronunciation, rhythm, and listening skills, all while having fun. Technique number 15. Shadowing technique. This technique is especially helpful if you want to improve your speaking speed and accent. Here's how shadowing works. Choose a short clip from an English video or podcast. Listen carefully to the speaker. Pause, then repeat what you heard, out loud, as closely as possible. Try to copy the tone, the speed, the rhythm. Don't worry if it feels hard at first. The goal is not perfection. It's to train your brain to process and speak English in real time. Do this for just 5 minutes a day, and you'll notice improvements in your fluency, confidence, and pronunciation. Technique number 16. Mirror talk. Want to build confidence and get comfortable speaking English out loud? Try talking to yourself. Yes, really. Stand in front of a mirror and talk about anything. What you did today. What you plan to do tomorrow. How you're feeling. What you like or don't like. It might feel strange at first, but trust me, it works. When you see your own face while speaking, you become more aware of your expressions, voice, and body language. And the more you do it, the more natural speaking English feels, even when you're talking to other people. Technique number 17. Mental narration. This is one of my favorite techniques, and it's surprisingly powerful. Think of your life as a movie, and you're the narrator. As you walk down the street or go about your day, silently describe what's happening around you in English. For example, I'm walking toward the bus stop. It's sunny today. There's a dog running across the park. Or imagine yourself giving a live commentary. Now I'm entering the office. My coworker is smiling and saying good morning. I'm sitting at my desk and opening my laptop. This trains your brain to constantly process information in English, which makes listening and speaking feel much smoother. At first, it may feel like extra effort, but over time, it becomes automatic. It's like switching from walking to running. Once you get used to it, it just flows. Technique number 18. Visualize your perfect day. Visualization is a powerful tool, not just for language learning, but for personal growth in general. Take a few minutes each day to imagine your perfect day, from morning to night, entirely in English. Picture yourself waking up with energy, speaking English confidently, enjoying a conversation with friends, watching a movie without subtitles, feeling proud of your progress. Describe this imagined day to yourself in English. I wake up early and feel refreshed. I have a great conversation with my friend. I understand everything the teacher says. I feel comfortable using English all day. This helps your brain associate English with positive emotions, which makes it easier to stay motivated and keep practicing. And when your brain sees English as part of your ideal self, it naturally starts thinking in the language more often. Technique number 19. Explain without knowing the word. This is a big milestone and a sign that you're moving into more advanced thinking. When you don't know a word, instead of switching back to your native language, try to explain the idea using words you already know. For example, if you can't remember the word umbrella, say, it's something you use when it rains. If you forget bicycle, say, it's a vehicle with 2 wheels that you pedal. This is called paraphrasing, and it's a skill fluent speakers use every day. By practicing this, you teach your brain to stay in English, even when you don't have the exact word. And over time, your brain learns to think creatively in English, which is a huge step toward fluency. Technique number 20. Set goals in English. One final but very effective technique is setting your daily goals in English. Instead of planning your day in your native language, do it in English.
For example,
today I will read an article in English. I will practice speaking for 15 minutes. I will eat lunch while thinking only in English. Even simple goal setting like this keeps your brain in English mode from the moment you wake up. It also gives you a sense of control and direction, which helps build confidence and consistency. And the more you do it, the more natural it becomes to think, plan, and express yourself in English without even trying. You've made it. We're at the final part of this video. If you followed along from the beginning, you now have 20 powerful techniques that will help you stop translating and start thinking directly in English. But before we wrap up, I want to leave you with some final thoughts, not just about learning English, but about who you're becoming through this process. Let's be real, thinking in a new language doesn't happen overnight. It takes time, and during that time, you'll make mistakes. You'll forget words. You'll mix up grammar. You'll sometimes feel stuck. And that's okay. Every fluent speaker, yes, even native speakers, makes mistakes. The important thing is that you keep going, because every mistake is actually a step forward. It means you tried. It means you're learning. So don't be hard on yourself. Be kind. Be patient. And trust that progress is happening, even when you can't see it yet. A lot of learners get stuck trying to speak perfectly, with correct grammar, perfect pronunciation, and no mistakes. But here's the secret. Fluency comes before perfection. It's better to say something clearly and confidently, even if it's not 100% grammatically correct, than to stay silent because you're afraid of making a mistake. Real communication is about being understood, not sounding like a textbook. So let your thoughts flow. Let your sentences come out naturally. Even if they're simple or not perfect, they're yours. And that's what matters. Celebrate small wins. Don't wait until you're fluent to feel proud of yourself. Celebrate the small wins. A full minute of thinking in English. Understanding a sentence without translation. Saying something out loud for the first time. Writing your first journal entry in English. Even 5 minutes of thinking in English is more than yesterday, and that's worth celebrating. Because every small win builds confidence. And confidence leads to bigger progress. Learning a language is like planting a seed. You water it daily. You give it sunlight, but you don't dig it up every day to check if it's growing. Language works the same way. You might not notice changes every single day, but over time, those little habits add up. So trust that every time you name an object, describe your actions, or imagine a conversation, you are building something powerful. You are building a new way of thinking. Here's something I want you to remember. English isn't just a subject you study. It's not just vocabulary and grammar rules. It's not just something you learn. It's something you live. Every time you think in English, you're not just improving your language skills. You're opening doors to new ideas, new people, and new opportunities. You're joining a global community. And most importantly, you're proving to yourself that you can do it. If you found this video helpful, and I really hope you did, please take a moment to show your support. Hit the like button. It helps other learners find this video too. Share it with someone who wants to stop translating and start speaking freely. And of course, subscribe to the channel so you never miss another lesson. Because your journey to fluency starts with small steps, and every step counts. To everyone watching this, whether you're just starting out or already on your way, I want to say this. You've got this. Keep going.
keep practicing.
Keep thinking in English. Your brain is getting stronger. Your confidence is growing. And your English future is full of possibilities. I'm cheering for you, and I'll see you in the next video. Until then, keep thinking in English. You're doing amazing.